and welcome to this recorded presentation about the Midwest Food Community Project. I would like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands on which we are viewing this video. I recognise their continuing connection to the land and the beautiful ocean and thank them for protecting this country for thousands of generations. I respect all elders past and present. So here we have pictured our food community team, which is led by Dr. Stephanie Godrich. We have Professor Amanda Devine, Associate Professor Mel Stonen, Isabel Kira, Jess Stowe, and Emily Humphreys. And together we make up the Food Community Project team. So the Food Community Project aims to identify, map, evaluate, and strengthen government and community food security initiatives across the WA regions to support food security action. So we're conducting this work across 6 WA regions, including the Wheatbelt, Midwest, Great Southern, Kimberley, Pilbara, and Goldfields region. And in this recording, we'll be focusing specifically on the Midwest Food Community Project findings. So for some geographical context, the Midwest region spans over 600,000 square kilometres, includes 22 local government areas, and has a population of approximately 65,000 people. And this graph here represents the median age range of residents in the Midwest region. So just over half of the population is aged between 25 to 65 years, and almost 1/4 are 65 years or over, according to the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Throughout 2022 to 2023, the Food Community team conducted interviews with government and community-led food security initiative leaders across the Midwest region. We conducted interviews with 18 participants, and most of the participants were health professionals or CEOs, chairs, EOs, and presidents. The participants we interviewed represented 24 initiatives across the Midwest region. Initiatives were categorised as food literacy and health promotion projects, emergency food relief and community programs, businesses, networks or alliances, farmers markets and food events, and community gardens and food swapping groups. Majority of initiatives across this region, so 11 initiatives, were classified as food literacy and health promotion projects. And then you can see the remaining participant demographics listed on this slide. The Food Community team also mapped the interviewed initiatives across the lifespan to showcase where the focus areas of the initiatives are and where there are opportunities. So as you can see here, majority of the initiatives that we interviewed are focused on school-aged children and adults, and they are less focused on early years, youth-aged, and senior or older adults. The Food Community Project works through this systems change framework. We have 9 different focus areas that are organised into our interview guide that we use to ask questions of the people who are running food initiatives. Focus Area 1 is about shaking things up. It's disrupting the status quo and the current way of working. Focus Area 2 is about joining up and rippling out to bolster a potential new way of working. Focus Area 3 is about creating identity and combining resources, which helps to move the system of initiatives towards a new way of working. Focus Area 4 is about embedding, watching, and responding to that new way of working. And Focus Area 5 is about building collective knowledge. So it's about helping people keep informed about the big picture of food security. These first 5 focus areas are about helping communities to shift towards a more effective way of supporting food security. Then Focus Areas 6, 7, 8, and 9 relate to two-way communication between government and community. Focus Areas 6 and 7 are about government exploring food security solutions and innovations that already exist within the community. And Focus Areas 8 and 9 are about governments taking those learnings about community food security solutions back up into government systems to embed them in there. And then each of these focus areas are made up of a number of characteristics, of which there are 36 in total. So now we're going to have a look at some analysis of the characteristics that were most commonly possessed by initiatives in the region across each focus area, as well as some examples of activities that these Midwest initiatives currently undertake. So our food community team analysed the participant comments from the interviews thematically to see the most common themes across each focus area and their characteristics. So, starting at Focus Area 1, initiatives across the Midwest region were most likely to possess characteristic 1.5, which is about identifying clear geographical or issue based boundaries. For example, there was a national evidence based program that was adapted to fit the needs of the local Geraldton community. Then at Focus Area 2, initiatives in the region were most likely to possess characteristic 2.5, which is about creating connections with others addressing food security. For example, some organisations established connections with other services in the Midwest region through the Emergency Relief Network. Then at Focus Area 3, initiatives are most likely to possess characteristic 3.1, which is about creating a shared awareness and understanding of food security through words and images. For example, some initiatives would develop a logo which communicated their focus on food. At Focus Area 4, initiatives are most likely to possess characteristics 4.1 and 4.3. So 4.1 is about fitting into local constraints, contexts, and needs. For example, some initiatives ensured that readily available, culturally appropriate, and affordable food was used in their cooking sessions. And characteristic 4.3 is about using marketing and communication material to increase understanding around food security. For example, some initiatives used local newsletters and the radio to promote their activities and increase awareness around food security. Then at Focus Area 5, initiatives are most likely to possess characteristic 5.2, which is about using technology to understand and share information with others addressing food security. So this included people using social media, websites, and YouTube to open up discussions about local food security issues. At Focus Area 6, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 6.2, which is about helping governments to provide accessible information about food security. For example, some initiatives partnered with government departments and organisations to run their activities. Next, at Focus Area 7, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 7.2, which is about assisting elected representatives to consider community views and ideas about food security. For example, local elected members would attend initiative events and engage in community conversations about food security. At Focus Area 8, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 8.2, which is about linking community-led activities and government strategic plans. For example, there was an initiative that aligned their work with the targets outlined in the National Agreement on Closing the Gap. Now, finally, looking at Focus Area 9, initiatives were most likely to possess characteristic 9.2, which is about providing elected representatives with community information about food security that is relevant to their electorate area or portfolio. For example, some initiative leaders in the Midwest region would attend local government meetings to provide education around local issues, as well as raise awareness of activities supporting local food security. So after we interview people, we upload the data into an online tool called the Tool for Systemic Change, and we use this tool to evaluate the initiative's work against these 36 systems change characteristics embedded across those 9 focus areas that we discussed earlier. So the tool produces a variety of maps, including these region-based transition cards, and this is the Midwest one here. So this transition card, or also known as our systems change map, visualises how the Midwest food security system is contributing to 36 systems change characteristics across 9 focus areas. So it shows the initiatives we interviewed down the left side there, as well as the columns which are the characteristics that make up those 9 different focus areas. So the coloured tiles indicate whether the initiative possesses that focus area's characteristic, and each characteristic aligns with a question asked during the interview. So if the tile is coloured, then the initiative possesses the characteristic, and if it's blank, they either responded no to our question or couldn't provide evidence as to how they possess the characteristic. So there's no right or wrong answer, and it's not necessarily a bad thing if they don't possess them. It just offers these windows of opportunities to strengthen different parts or aspects of that initiative through small tweaks or changes. So the tool for systemic change also produces a partnership map or a solution ecosystem, which shows all of the different partnerships and collaborations between the 60 organisations we identified, and that was based on those interviews, to be working on food security within the Midwest region in 2023. So you can view a larger version of each region's partnership map on our website, but now we're going to have a little bit of a deeper look into the Midwest partnership analysis. So looking at network model types, you can use social network analysis to understand network typology and their structures as a whole. So the Midwest Partnership Map that I just showed you demonstrates a scattered fragments model, which indicates a siloed network in the early stages of development. So 21 organisations in the Midwest network were identified as hubs, meaning these organisations connected with more than the average number of partners, and they were essential to spreading information throughout different parts of the network. Then there was one not-for-profit organisation which had 5 times the average number of partnerships across the region, as well as one local government organisation and one state government organisation that were identified as critical for information sharing. Then 37 organisations within the Midwest network were categorised as connected components, meaning that they use their partnerships to receive and share information throughout the network. And finally, 2 organisations in the network were unconnected, meaning that they had no partnerships. Through our analysis, we also identified common themes about the ways in which organisations are working in partnership in the Midwest region. So key themes included collaboration, coordinated action and capacity building, community consultation and involvement, food and financial donations, funding and grants for program delivery, and physical and human resources. So, for example, having a look under collaboration, coordinated action, capacity building, partnerships focused on collaborating to build capacity. For example, there was a food relief organisation in the region that established a referral system with other organisations that were also working in the same field. Under community consultation and involvement, community members were involved in the design and/or delivery of services in the Midwest region. So one initiative leader described the adaptation of their program to fit within what is currently happening in the community. Next, under food and financial donations, some food relief initiatives received food and financial donations from different types of organisations. For example, there was one food relief initiative in the Midwest region which received donations from the main branch of their overarching organisation that was located in Perth. Now moving on to funding and grants for program and service delivery. Initiatives often received funding and grants for program delivery from multiple organisations. For example, there was a nutrition education initiative in the region that was funded by a state government funding body for a specific time frame. Finally, with physical and human resources, initiatives regularly shared physical and human resources, including sharing staff such as nutritionists and chefs. There were 2 food council or alliances that both partnered with the local TAFE in the region to bring students and chefs together at food festivals and provide opportunity for that hands-on learning. During the project, we also asked participants what ideas they had for new initiatives or actions required to support food security in their region. So in the Midwest, common ideas included food education, such as food systems education through the community garden and food exposure programs. There was also food cooperatives and community kitchen and storage facilities. There was the idea for a free community bus that travels in and out of Geraldton for food shopping, as well as encouraging growing at family-owned and individual small business levels, as well as food security champions and groups with a voice for Aboriginal people around community food security and community advocates, And finally, there was also the idea of healthy food policies, such as healthy food options at community sporting clubs, governance of food stores on price and quality in remote towns, and advocating to local government to not have unhealthy food advertising on government property. So, based on our Midwest findings, the food community team has developed recommendations to support the current food security system to shift towards a more effective way of working. So, this includes that Midwest Food Security Initiative leaders could strengthen their food security impact by enhancing Focus Area 7 attributes. So, this might be through engaging government representatives in program activities and speaking with them about their food initiative to really increase their understanding of how it supports food security. It also might be around sharing community member views about food security with government representatives and then supporting those government representatives to talk about food security in a way that community members can understand and use. It also could be about undertaking government advocacy to really get food security on their agenda as well as having it actioned. Midwest Initiative leaders could also strengthen their impact by enhancing Focus Area 9 attributes, by advocating to local, state, and federal government about addressing food security, as well as ensuring that their initiative is listed on the Food Community website Connect section. Other recommendations include food security initiatives considering the bigger picture of food security when sharing information with their networks and undertaking food security activities, as well as more support for better collaborations between government and community organisations. We've also developed some specific recommendations to strengthen the Midwest region's partnership networks, including organisations identifying and documenting clear partnership purposes, roles, and actions. If desired, the two unconnected organisations should be supported to connect into their partnership network, and this might be achieved through creating a bank of region-based partnership opportunities, for example, the Food Community website and interagency networking groups as well. Finally, the Midwest Region Network should be supported to shift across those network stages by connecting organisations, increasing collaboration on small food security projects, bringing in new organisations, as well as implementing ways to share information. That brings us to the end of the Midwest Food Community Snapshot presentation. We would like to acknowledge and thank our project partners and funders which are listed here. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you have any questions, please email us at foodcommunity@ecu.edu.au. You can also follow us on Facebook to keep up to date with the project and head over to our website and sign up for free to access a variety of resources.